the immune system is essentially a discernment system. Fundamentally, it's a discernment system between self and non-self. That's what it is, fundamentally. There's an aspect of our system which is primarily concerned with modulating, mediating our relationship with the outside world. That's all one thing, right? I mean, it's all like our chi is all one thing in some ways. It's just there's just layers of it. And there's a part of it is one thing because we're in the world. There's a part of it which is on the outside and a part of it which is on the inside. That's just how it is, right? And so that part of it which is on the outside is primarily about maintaining and modulating that relationship that we have with the outside world, with the external world, and that's the Wei Qi. And so that is on the one hand. Then on the other hand, we have a part of it which is primarily concerned with modulating and maintaining our pattern of self. We have to constantly reproduce our own self. It's not like one and done. You know what I mean? It's not one and done. It's always happening. It's like constantly happening that we're constantly making reference to our own deep pattern in order to continually recreate our life. That's because cells die, right? And that's because we get injured. And that's because we're in a constant state of having to recreate ourself. And that recreation of self needs reference back to a blueprint, back to a pattern, and it needs to be able to maintain. So you have something in the system which is maintaining our relationship with the outside world, and then there's an aspect of the system which is maintaining our relationship to ourself. We call the one Wei Qi, and we call the other Yuan Qi, right? And so the autoimmunity is when we have this situation where there's some confusion in this discernment between self and non-self. And then the Wei Qi, which is primarily concerned with not self in a certain sense, one way of putting it, Wei Qi is primarily concerned with not self. Yuan Qi is primarily concerned with self. And then there's some confusion between the two, and you have an autoimmune condition. So, so I think that's conceptually partly what's happening. And then you have this situation where, if we look to the channels, we say, okay, well, the channel system, which is primarily concerned with like, in other words, if the channels have certain chi that they're fundamentally conducting, like different channels are conducting different aspects of the chi. And there's a blending, but there's certain channels that conduct certain aspects of chi primarily. The channel divergences, um, the uh, the Jingbia, the divergent channels, are about this relationship between Yuan Qi and the Wei Qi.